Hi and welcome to my new video, and I have to say I was very glad when I got this watch to do a review. When Casio introduced it together with Gshock GA2100, I knew it was going to be a great watch. The main reason is its octagonal case shape. It would be a bold statement to compare it with iconic Gerald Genta's AP design that was inspired by a boat window. But let's not forget the Japanese watch industry almost destroyed Swiss watchmakers, and that was in the age of quartz watch introduction. I won't go any more about it, just wanted to say it's great to see this design for a reasonable price, and the quality that comes with it. What we see here is a beautiful black bezel, black dial with lime green or yellow details. And details are on the dial as well as on the outer bezel in these screws, which are aligned perfectly. This is a really nice touch-up to this model, although there are more variations to this model. The watch combines analog and digital display to make sure you know what's the time and date, so it's very easily readable. You can shuffle between digital display variations to see time and date. The crown at 3 o'clock is not a crown, it's a button, and it fits well chronograph style and look. The button on 8 o'clock adds to geeky and futuristic style of the watch. I have seen many bezel designs and there's not much to reinvent, but this simple bezel with minutes around the dial is just what everyone needs. Who even uses the tachymeter scale anymore? It's a nice touch, but this is more practical and everyday thing. You would not expect an Edifice watch to have a good illumination, but this one does, and it's great. You are able to see what is the time, I guarantee. I have seen worse illumination on Gshock watches, believe me. This is a solar-powered watch and it integrates Bluetooth model or a smartphone link function. But have in mind that this is not a smartwatch, and it shouldn't be one. Don't compare it to it. Mobile link function will help you set the time and date on your phone, find your phone, set the alarm, and etc. And that's about it. But you don't need it that much. You will set the time once or twice a year, set the alarm, even if that. This is a watch to be on your hand. The tough solar movement is made to last and take a beating. I very recommend this watch. Now let's see what are the watch functions. But before that, I want to say something about the screen indicators. Since this is a digital display, there are more screen indicators than on the analog display. When it's an analog display, you would have those indicators stated on the inner bezel, and the second hand would point to one of those indicators when the watch is in the appropriate mode or setting. So according to that, the watch uses the digital displays, or let me just put a picture over here so you can better see or what I'm talking about. So up in this circular digital display, you would have the signal and the alarm lit up when you activate the alarm and the hourly time signal. So on this over here part, you would have the small airplane drone, which means that the watch is in the airplane mode. LT stands for automatic illumination. That stands for turning on the illumination when you flick your wrist while your watch is on your wrist. Number 2 stands for HND, and I'm going to show you what that is. Number 1, when the DST is on, that's the daylight saving time mode. Number 5, that's the P, and stands for AM or PM indication. So when your watch is set to 12-hour time format, it will indicate that the watch is in the PM section or the time is in the PM region. This over here is a small Bluetooth logo. It would lit up when your watch is connected to your phone. And over here on this sub-dial is basically used for a stopwatch. Since this is a highly accurate stopwatch watch that can count in the increments of 1/1000th of a second, you have the appropriate stopwatch markings on this sub-dial over here. Over here you have the AL, and this small hand would point, the longer part of the hand would point to AL when your watch is in the alarm mode. Also, it would point to the WT when it's in the world time mode. Let me show you how to switch the digital display representations, and that's done by pressing this button over here with the Edifice logo, so you can switch between digital time displayed and the date while the seconds remain there. Next press moves us to the date representation with the Saturday in the circular digital window. Now you can shuffle between, in the settings of the watch, you can shuffle between the languages that this day would present itself. As I've said previously, you have the upper right button to engage the illumination of the watch. Lower left one, it's the mode button, so you can shuffle between the stopwatch mode, and you can see it counts to the increments of 1/1000th of a second. You have your countdown timer mode. It's the now it's in the alarm mode, and this gear, this small hand or the sub dial activates, and it shows to the alarm mode. Next press gets us to the world time mode, and next press of the mode button, higher pitch of the sound, gets us to the standard timekeeping mode. Hi and welcome to the tutorial part of this video review of the Edifice ECB-10. Before I get to the tutorial part, I want to show you a cool feature which I forgot to tell you in the review part, and that is to move the hands out of the way, and that's done by pressing or holding down the upper right button and then pressing this button over here. So holding this one and then pressing the lower left button. What does this button do? Well, it moves the hands out of the way so you can have better access to the digital time, and once you're setting your watch, it can help you with the settings because the hands are not in the way. Once you're done, simply repeating the process, so holding the upper right one, then pressing the lower left one, it will return the watch hands to its position. Setting the time and date on ECB-10 is done like this. Whilst in the standard timekeeping mode, press and hold down this button over here at 3 o'clock until you hear the beep, and the city code will appear on the upper digital display. So you heard the beep, and my city code is Sarajevo. So the hands are moving out of the way so we can have better access to the digital display and setting the watch in general. First in a row setting is, as I previously said, the home city setting, and we can shuffle between the home cities by pressing the this and this button over here. So let me go and show you. You have the Prague, you have the Rio de Janeiro, Halifax, I believe, yes. But you get the principle. Rotate with using these two buttons. Let me get back to my time zone. That's the Paris time zone. Once we are done with the setting our home city, pressing the mode button over here, that's the button at 40, the lower left one, we get shifted to setting the DST time. So DST, it's the daylight saving time mode. We can shift it between off, on, or auto. Next press of the mode button gets us to 12 or 24-hour timekeeping, and pressing the lower right button we shift to 24-hour time format. Next press of the button gets us to setting the seconds value, and you can see the seconds are flashing on the circular digital display. Now you cannot set the exact value of seconds, but what you can do is reset the value using this button over here. Next press of the mode button gets us to setting the hour value, again using this upper right button and the lower right button. You can increase or decrease the value of hours. Again, I'm mentioning that this is the manual setup of your watch. Next press of the mode button gets us to setting the minutes. Procedure is the same, so these two buttons over here to increase or decrease the value. Next press of the button gets us to date display format. So you have month, day, date, you have the day, month, and month, day, date. So you can shift between those options. Next press of the button gets us to year setting, and you can see the year is blinking on the circular digital display. Increase or decrease, again the same procedure using these two buttons. Next press gets us to setting the month value. So again, using these two buttons you can increase or decrease the value of month setting, month value. Next press of the mode button gets us to day setting. You can increase or decrease using these two buttons over here. Next press, day of the week language. You can shift it between English, Spanish, French, Deutschland or German, and Italian, Russian, and back to English. I'm gonna leave it in English. Next press of the mode button over here gets us to appointment notification, tone on or off. It's set to the beep, and that stands, you can set the appointment settings with your phone, and the watch will remind you of your settings. So currently you have your set to beep, but you can turn it off or turn it on. Next press of the mode button, button operation tone. The key stands for the illumination tone, the button operation tone is turned on. Once you press the lower right button, you can mute it or get it back to on. Next press of the button gets the auto light switch. The auto light switch is the option for you to use it when you flick your wrist. While your watch is on your wrist, it will automatically turn on illumination, so you can have the better readout of your time. Currently it's set to off, and I'm going to leave it at off. Next press of the mode button gets us to the illumination duration. You can set between 1 and 3. 1 stands for the 1.5 seconds duration of your illumination when you press the illuminate button, and the 3 stands for 3-second duration. Next press gets us to the airplane mode. You can turn it on or off, but I'm gonna leave it at off. Airplane mode is the mode when your watch will simply turn itself off, something similar to your phone, and it will not beep or alarm you in any way, or not interfere with the radio signals at the airplane. So basically we all know what does airplane mode mean. Next press of the mode button gets us back to the beginning and setting our time zone. That would be the whole cycle of setting the time and date and other settings on this watch. Once you're done with all of your settings, simply push the setting button once again, and we are back to the standard timekeeping mode. The stopwatch mode on this watch. Now, the stopwatch mode is actually the first in a row of modes on this watch, so simply pressing the mode button once, you enter the stopwatch mode on this watch. The stopwatch measures the elapsed time in 1/1000 of a second units for the first hour, and in 1/1000 of a second units after that for up to 24 hours. In addition to normal elapsed time measurement, the stopwatch also lets you measure the lap times. Up to 200 lap times can be recorded in the watch memory. So let's see how to measure the elapsed time on this watch. Now, first of all, to activate the stopwatch, press the lower right button to start it, and over here you have the 1/1000 of a second units counting down. You have your minute and the seconds value on the this digital display. Press the same button to resume it, again to restart it, again to resume it, and then this button over here to reset the value. Those would be the basics of measuring the elapsed time. How to measure the lap times. So let's start the stopwatch by pressing the lower right button, and we have engaged the stopwatch. Again, you have the 1/1000 of a second units. You have your minutes and the seconds. Also over here you have your lap time seconds, second measurements. That is for the first hour. After the first hour you will have your 1/1000 of a second, and the hour and minutes, and the lap time seconds over here. So we have engaged our measurement. Pressing the middle button at 3 o'clock will measure the lap time. So lap 1, indication over there, and back to the measurement again. So the same button to stop the value and pressing the middle button to reset the value. Those would be the basics of a stopwatch mode on this watch. Once you're done, pressing and holding the lower left button will get us to the standard timekeeping mode. Using the countdown timer, from the standard timekeeping mode, keep pressing the mode button until you get to the countdown timer. So press it once, it's the stopwatch mode, and pressing it again gets us to the countdown timer mode. So let's see if we can get our hands out of the way for this video. Yes, so pressing and holding this button over here and then pressing the lower left will move the hands out of the way so you can have better view to your countdown timer values. How to set the countdown timer values? So you can set the values to count down from a specific time. So let's get to that. Once you are in this mode, hold down the button at 3 o'clock for about 2 seconds and release the button when the hour digit starts to flash. And there it is, it's flashing. So currently use in the position to set the hour values. So pressing this or this button over here, so upper right one and the lower right one will increase the values, or you can set the value of your hours. So once we set the value of our hours, simply pressing this over here button will move us to setting the minutes digit. Will set the minutes digit flashing and causes the settings of the minutes and minutes value. Pressing the upper button and the lower button will increase or decrease the value. Next press of the mode button causes the seconds hand to flash and you can increase or decrease the value of seconds. Once you have done with all of your settings of the values you want, simply pressing the button at 3 o'clock will exit the settings. And we have preset our value of the countdown timer to 10 minutes. How to engage the countdown timer? That's done by pressing the lower right button and the timer will start to count down. I don't know if you can see it, but it's counting down 9, 50, 150, 49 and so on. Same button to pause it, again to resume it, again to pause it, and the button at 3 o'clock to reset the value. Now once you get to the a beeper will sound for 10 seconds to let you know when the end of a countdown timer is reached. To reset a pause the time, press the button at 3 o'clock and press any button to stop the tone. Those would be the basics at the end of the countdown timer tutorial. Pressing and holding the button at 8 o'clock will return us to the standard timekeeping mode. Using the alarm mode on this watch, from the standard timekeeping mode, pressing the mode button will get us to the alarm setting and the subdial over here will indicate that the AL or the alarm setting is turned on. Currently we can shuffle through the alarm number of the alarms. So we have the alarm 3, alarm 4, I don't know if you can pick it up, alarm 5, hourly time signal, and back to the alarm. So once you want to set the alarms, so let's say I want to set the alarm number 1. Currently it's turned off, but you can turn it on by pressing this button over here at 3 o'clock. And how to set the value of the alarm? Well, that's done by pressing and holding this button over here until you hear the beep. So let's wait for the hands to move out of the way. And you have your indication that the alarm is turned on by this ALM inscription on the small digital round display. And it says it's on. Currently we have the hour value flashing, and by pressing this button or this button over here you can increase or decrease the value. So once you have done with the setting of the hours, pressing the mode button will shift to setting the minutes value. pressing this button or this button will increase or decrease the value of the minutes. Once you're done with all of your settings, pressing the button at 3 o'clock will automatically turn on the alarm. Once again, if you want to turn it off, press the same button again. Now that was the setting for the alarm number 1. Let's go to the hourly time signal. The basics are the same for all of the 5 alarms. Alarm signal can be turned on or off. I'm gonna turn it off, and once you are done with all of your settings, simply pressing and holding the mode button until you hear the double beep will return us to the standard timekeeping mode. How to use the world time mode on this watch? The procedure is very simplified once you use the application, but nevertheless I'm going to show you how to do it manually. So pressing the mode button from the standard timekeeping mode will shuffle us eventually to the world time mode, and you can track it using this subdial over here. Once the longer part of the hand gets us to WT, and there it is, it says the world time mode. Pressing the lower right button will shift the values of the cities in the world time. So let's say I want to get it to Tokyo because that's the origin of this watch. Well, it doesn't matter. Let's get it to anywhere we want it. Let's say what it is. Anchorage, I believe. Yes, it is. That's the Anchorage. And that would be the basics of setting or seeing the times in the other parts of the world. Now there's a possibility for you to change the summertime settings, so simply pressing and holding this button over here for at least 2 seconds will get us to the setting the DST value for the Anchorage in this case, and you can use the same button to cycle. Is it auto, on, or off? I'm gonna leave it at auto. Hands are out of the way, so you have better access to the digital displays. Once you're done with all of your settings, simply press the button at 3 o'clock and all of the settings are implemented. Once you're done or seeing your time in the other time zone, pressing and holding this button over here will return us to the standard timekeeping mode once you hear the double beep, and the watch hands will align at the correct time and date currently. Adjusting the hand alignment, that is a procedure. I have mentioned it earlier in the app section of this video, and due to the strong impact of magnetism, the watch hands can go out of the alignment, and that means that if the time, let's say a digital time on the watch says it's 23:47, the analog hands don't show the same time. To correct that flaw in the watch, use the following steps. Enter the timekeeping mode. So we are currently in the timekeeping mode, but pressing the mode button will return us to the standard timekeeping mode. So hold down the next step would be to hold down the button at 3 o'clock at least 5 seconds and release it when the zeros on the circular digital display starts to flash. So here we go. Not yet, not yet, not yet, and here we are. So it says sub and the zeros are flashing, and we have entered the adjustment of the hands. First in a row of setting is the mode hand, and if the mode hand is not aligned at 2 zeros, it should be aligned, but if it's not, you can correct it using this button over here or this button over here. It will shuffle up and down so until you get it to the 2 zeros. Currently my watch is set correctly, so I'm happy with my settings. Pressing the mode button will get us into the settings of the hour and minute hand. The hour and minute hand should align together at 12 o'clock, and that means that they are aligned properly. If they are not aligned, it would be you have to align them using the upper and the lower right button. So move it left or right until you get it exactly at 12 o'clock. Once you're done with all of your settings and the hands are properly aligned, simply pressing the button at 3 o'clock will return us to the standard timekeeping mode, and the hands should now properly be aligned. So the analog time should correspond to the digital time on the watch. So it says 23:49 and it's correct. To the app review of the Edifice connected app on the Edifice ECB-10 watch. First of all, let's run the app. So this is the first time for me setting the app. Have to turn on the Bluetooth, then find my watch. It's the ECB-10 and it's the first in a row. So there I go. It says hold down for 2 seconds the lower right button. So let's go. And this upper display says CNCT, and the app says if I want to register the watch to the app. So I click yes. And we have our watch. We have the our app running, and the watch is synchronized to the phone. So there's no data to be imported from the stopwatch, since this is a brand new watch, and I haven't used the stopwatch yet. But when you use a stopwatch, the watch will automatically record the data, and you can import that data to your phone. Over here we have the home city settings and the world time settings. So basically over here your home time, currently my home time is Sarajevo, and when you first run your watch, the phone will automatically sync the time and date with the watch. So if your watch is not in the correct time zone, the phone will send the correct time zone information to your watch. On the left side we can choose our world time city. So let's see if we can switch the time on the secondary time zone, and the watch should send the data to the phone should send the data to the watch. So let's say I wanna this Halifax, Canada, and currently I'm sending the information to my watch. And world time was set. So there we are. Let's see what are the utilities. Utilities, you have the schedule timer, you have 5 alarms, hourly time signal, and the countdown timer. Currently we see all of them are off, and the timer is set to 10 minutes. Basically you can adjust each and every alarm manually over here using the application. Unlike the setting it by hand on your watch, which is much more complicated. So that was the stopwatch, and here we have the guide. So the guide is a very useful feature. You can set or see basically each and every function and instruction for the as you can see here, time mode. You have the stopwatch, timer, alarm, and the world time over here. All of the info you need to guide or navigate through your watch. This watch does not have, or when you connect your watch with your phone, does not have the battery level indicator, and that battery level indicator is usually on the newer watches like the EQB 1100 and 1000. It's located on the upper left corner. So let's see what does the upper right gear button do. What does the watch allow you to do? You have the tutorial unit setting. Unit setting is oriented to a stopwatch, using the stopwatch, so you can choose between kilometers and miles. You have your account selection. You have the phone finder setting, watch display setting. That's the basic settings of the watch. You have your day of the week language, month, day, order, or 12 or 24-hour format. So basically you can do all of these settings manually using your watch. You have the time adjustment. You have the light setting, that's the duration of your illumination when you press the button to illuminate your watch, and you have to turn on the auto light button, and so that's the button when you flick your wrist, the watch will automatically turn on the light on your watch. Adjusting the home positions, very useful feature. That's done when your hands are out of the alignment. So when you synchronize your watch with your phone, currently we have the 23:02 at p.m. So 11 p.m. In the 12-hour time format. The watch shows some different time, but it says it's 23:02. You have to adjust your watch hands. So this is the easier way to do it, but there is a manual way to do it on your watch. That happens when you expose your watch to a strong magnetism, impact, or something like that. The hands can go out of the alignment by themselves. So summertime setting for home time, that's where you turn on your DST or turn it on or off depending on your time zone, or does it have the one. Those would be the basics of the application when it comes to the ECB-10. What's there to do? Well, you can delete the pairing registration. I'm going to show you. Delete the pairing registration. And currently we are back to the beginning. The watch is disconnected from your phone, and back to beginning basically. Now you have to register the watch to the app again and do the process as you like. That would be the app review. How does a phone finder work on these watches? The basics are, you know where your watch is, it's on your wrist, but you cannot find your phone, and your phone is connected to your watch. The procedure is simple. Pressing and holding the lower left button for about 5 seconds should beep the alarm or sound your phone. So let's go. Find. And there we have the phone ringing, so you can find. Simply pressing any button will turn off the, well, at least it should, on the watch, sorry. So those will be the basics of the phone finder on this watch. Pressing down the mode button will return us to the standard timekeeping mode. So basically we have ran through the cycle of settings of the watch. Now it's time for me to show you how to delete the pairing information from the watch. Hold down the lower left button for at least 2 seconds to enter the timekeeping mode. That's just to make it sure that we are in the timekeeping mode. Next step is to hold down the button at 3 o'clock for at least 2 seconds and release it when the name of the current city appears on the display. So we have the Sarajevo shown over here. That is my current time zone. Now the next step is to press the lower left button 3 times. So here we go, once, twice, and 3 times. So seconds are flashing, and that's what we want to see. Now the next step would be to hold down the upper right button for at least 2 seconds and release it when the CLR stops flashing. So, and there it is. This deletes the pairing information from the watch. Once you're done, simply pressing the button at 3 o'clock will return us to the standard timekeeping mode, and the procedure of deleting the pairing information from the watch is over. And that would conclude this review and long tutorial. If you like my videos, please do give me a like and subscribe to my channel for more watch reviews and tutorials. Thank you.